Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today for our Lunch and Learn Speechify session. I really appreciate you all spending your lunchtime with me. For those of you that maybe haven't attended one of our Lunch and Learn sessions before, each month we look at key features of the different software that I look after, and today we are focusing on Speechify and specifically Speechify's Scan to Library feature. Um, just a quick introduction to myself in case I haven't met some of you before. My name is Ellie, and I am the Education and Workplace Partnership Manager here at Assistive Solutions. I've been with Assistive Solutions for just over a year now, and I look after Speechify, Mindomo, VoiceIt, and Grammarly across both DSA and Access to Work. So in this short session, I wanted to share a Speechify feature that's been making a real difference for students, especially for those who find heavy reading loads a bit of a challenge, and that is the Scan to Library feature. This feature helps bridge the gap between printed materials and digital tools that students rely on every day. Just in case any of you haven't heard of or haven't experienced Speechify before, Speechify is the world's #1 text-to-speech software, and I think a key thing that makes Speechify stand out from the crowd is their human-like and lifelike voices. There's over 240 different voices to choose from, and that's ranging from celebrity voices to different languages to even cloning their own voice. Now, let's just jump straight into the Scan to Library feature. I'm sure it's something that a lot of you have heard from many students before, is how overwhelming it can feel when they're faced with numerous dense textbooks, lots of handwritten lecture notes, or different handouts, especially when those documents aren't always available digitally. For some students, I think this can be especially tough because even when they have the right technology in place, it can only help so much if the materials that they need are still stuck on paper. And I think this can be a very real barrier for students, and one that can often make them feel a little bit behind before they've even managed to get started. And that's exactly where the Scan to Library feature comes in. It's a really, really simple idea. Students can use their phone camera to capture any printed material. Again, whether that's a textbook page, printed notes, or even different handouts. And Speechify then instantly converts it into a digital version that they can listen to using one of Speechify's voices. And it's very quick and easy to do. So literally a few seconds after snapping a picture of their document, they're able to start listening to it. And what I love about this is it gives students genuine control and independence. They don't need to wait around for someone else to make that content available digitally for them. So before I walk you through the rest of my presentation, I thought it would be useful to give you a quick overview of how this feature works. The Speechify app is available on both iOS and Android, and it looks and works the exact same across both. This is how the home screen appears. Again, I will delve into the other areas on other series or episodes in this webinar series. But for now, to access the Scan to Library feature, they can either click the scan button here or they can click the purple plus button and then scan text. This will open up the camera, and this is where they can scan their physical documents into the Speechify library. You may notice a little grey rectangle that's appeared. All they need to do is match the four corners of this rectangle with the four corners of the page. It will then go green, and it will automatically capture that scan and save it into their Speechify library. They can scan up to 2 pages at a time. It will scan the first page first and then the second page and upload it in chronological order. When they're done, they can go through to the customization area, and this is where they can do different things to customize their scanned image. So they can use skew to straighten up the text. We also have crop, so if they've accidentally scanned in their thumb from holding the page down or some of the other page, they can crop out any unwanted objects. In a second, you'll see that with this next page, I haven't done an overly good job of scanning the page. A lot of the text is cropped out, and some of it you're just not able to make out what it says. They can easily fix this by clicking more in the bottom right-hand corner. and then retake the scan. And this will open their camera back up, and they'll be able to easily rescan the page again by matching the 4 corners of the rectangle with the 4 corners of the page and then clicking capture. And the nice thing with this is it will replace the previous page, so they don't need to worry about going through and reorganizing it. It just replaces the previous page exactly where it was. And then finally, if they do have a page that they've uploaded that they actually no longer need, again, they can click the more option and then delete this page, and they can remove the page altogether. And when they're ready, they can click save and listen, and that will take them through to their listening platform. Now, they can read along to the scanned version of the text if they like. The synchronized highlighting will still pull through. However, if they click the page icon in the top right-hand corner, it will convert it into a body of text, and you can see that it's much clearer and much easier to read. And that is effectively it. It is super easy to use the scan to library feature. And then from here, they can choose their voices, they can select their speeds, they can create summarizations or quizzes, and they can start using Speechify directly from there. But I think it's important to highlight that the scan to library feature isn't just about giving students access, it's also about helping students engage with what they're learning. And here's some of the key ways that it can help them in practice. Of course, instant digitization means that students can scan pages wherever they are without needing any extra equipment, especially in this day and age when everyone's always got their phone on them. And it wouldn't be Speechify without having the iconic text-to-speech playback. So it means that they can listen instead of read, which can help to reduce fatigue and also help students with their focus. Like I mentioned before, we also have built-in summarization, notes, and quiz tools, which encourage active revision and help reinforce students' understanding. And they also have a customizable, organized library that they can create as well. So they can create folders and subfolders. There is no limit to how many folders they can create as well. And that helps to keep everything organized and easy to find across their different devices. And I think that together these features make reading feel less like a hurdle and more like an active part of learning. And the impact that this can have on students has really been encouraging to see, especially over this last year that I've been working with Speechify. I hear a lot from either students or assessors that a lot of the time students are feeling much more confident when using Speechify. They're feeling a little bit less anxious, and most importantly, more in control of their studies. And I think instead of trying to just get through their reading, they're actually able to focus on understanding it, and especially at a pace that suits them. But I do think it's important to highlight why this matters for assessors and trainers like yourselves. It's one of those simple but powerful tools that can make an immediate sense for students at university. And it's ideal for students who find reading or visual processing particularly demanding, or for those that just need a bit more of a flexible way to work with text. And I think most importantly, it fits so naturally into multimodal learning. And it means that students are able to read, listen, and summarize and review their content all in one place. But most importantly, I think it's really, really intuitive. Most students are able to pick it up straight away. There's not a huge amount of learning or training that needs to go along with figuring out how to use Speechify, which I think is a really, really nice thing, especially if they're not used to having or quite new to having assistive technology. So just to quickly summarize, the Scan to Library feature offers students a practical way to manage their print heavy materials independently, and it gives them access to content in a way that it works for them, as Speechify is so customizable to suit their different learning preferences. Speechify gives them tools to deepen their understanding and also retain information. And again, most importantly, it gives them the confidence that they can keep up, especially when reading can feel a little bit daunting and sometimes difficult. And I think it's a very small change in approach, but one that can have a lasting impact on their learning experience. And that is pretty much me. Thank you all so much for listening to my very quick run through of the Scan to Library feature. Again, the way that these sessions usually work is I will do the first half where I focus on a specific feature. I'll answer any questions, and then afterwards, if people were happy and want to leave, then they can. But if anyone does want to stay on, I will be doing a walkthrough of Speechify as a whole. After the call, I will be sharing with you your justification documents, our YouTube channel, your CPD certificate, and of course a Speechify license, so that you can all have access to Speechify and experience it for yourself. But now I would like to open up the floor. If you do have any questions, feel free to either raise your hand and you can unmute yourself and ask them out loud, or pop them in the chat and I can answer them that way. So does anybody have any questions before we move on?